अस्सलाम वालेकुम guys and welcome to another
Good.
episode of Over the Line podcast. क्या हाल चाल है आप सबके? Today
All
we are
good,
joined
Jay.
by
Mm.
Shah Jahan, one of our regular show members and one of our partners as well. We are joined with Mohammed Asad making his debut today, and he's an avid Chelsea supporter. We are joined for the second time with Mr. Ahmed Bauer as well, a proper Man United follower who believes Ole is at the wheel. So guys, क्या हाल चाल है आप सबके?
Allah ka shukr ji, thank you.
ठीक ठाक.
सब ठीक ठाक हैं. So yeah, guys, I think one of the the best place to start right now would be to talk about how the international break has affected so many clubs all around the world. So Asad, why don't you tell us your views on how international football has been, affecting maybe your club and the overall situation as well? आपको क्या लगता है?
यार मुझे तो लगता है कि जिस बंदे का भी आइडिया था कि ग्लोबल पैंडेमिक में इंटरनेशनल फ्रेंडलीज रखी जाएं, वो बहुत ही कोई पहुंचा हुआ आदमी है. बिकॉज लाइक देयर इज नो पॉइंट इन दीज मैचेस. लाइक अगर ये ना भी होते तो दुनिया चेंज ना होती. लाइक आपको लगता है कि स्पेन को फर्क पड़ता है कि उन्होंने 6 हराया जर्मनी को? उनके लोग भूल भी गए हैं, उनको कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ता. वो वेट कर रहे हैं कि
Very
बारसा
true.
और रियाल के मैचेस कब होते हैं. ये बस देखो, लाइक कोविड हो ही जा रहा है बिला वजह लोगों को. नहीं तो ये क्यों हो
बिल्कुल.
रहा है? मैं बस बहुत
Exactly.
फ्रस्ट्रेट होता हूँ उससे. लाइक बहुत
हाँ.
पॉइंटलेस है. ये मेरा सारा
So
भी
on
यही है.
on the flip side, you have to see that a lot of these international federations हैं, so they make a lot of money from these matches. इनकी broadcast rights है, even the friendlies, or
Yep,
especially if
basically.
England is playing against Ireland, that is a huge money-making opportunity for the Irish board.
बिल्कुल.
So उनको they have to take that into consideration, because if they don't do this, they cannot keep supporting grassroots football.
Yeah. So,
So
acha,
उनके लिए बहुत जरूरी होता है.
one of the arguments that I read online was, and you guys can maybe, tell me what you guys think, was it is not the international football that is affecting the clubs as much as the way they're scheduled. कि यानी आप इतने ज्यादा गेम्स एक फ्लो में रख रहे हो फॉर एंड देन मतलब फॉर एग्जांपल अ प्लेयर लाइक एन इंटरनेशनल लाइक एंडी रॉबर्टसन he's captain, he has to start, but then he has to play the Premier League, Champions League, and all these games in such a short period of time. So maybe the scheduling could have been done better. Maybe, what do you guys think? Shahjahan, maybe you could elaborate.
Scheduling could have been done better, but on Ahmed's point, I agree with him because so much money is involved in football. आजकल के and आपके schedules and fixtures बहुत पहले से वो earmark हुए होते हैं. So it's very difficult to probably change it last minute. मुझे ज़्यादा issue जो है, and I'm going to go on a little tangent, is with the domestic leagues. अब Premier League को अगर पता था, या FA को, इंग्लिश FA को देख लेते हैं, उनको अगर पता था कि आपके यूरोज भी होने हैं, आपके नेशनल या यूएफए नेशंस लीग भी होनी है वगैरह वगैरह, then you could have probably come up with some sort of an agreement with EFL कि यार Carabao Cup जो है उसको हम शायद लिमिट करते हैं, straight knockout matches 6-7 बस करो, खत्म करो. I mean ideally तो वैसे it should be scrapped, but चलो वो
For sure.
बात की बात है, but at least उसको थोड़ा लिमिट कर दें. FA Cup के साथ भी they could have done something similar. The point is कि अभी I was reading a stat कि Premier League के अंदर there've already been a 16% increase in muscle injuries from last year. And अभी तो आपका दिसंबर जैन वाला पीरियड भी नहीं आया, तो आप यार खुदा का खौफ करें, आपने प्लेयर्स के साथ क्या हरकतें कर रहे हैं. असद जो कह रहा था कि पैंडेमिक की बात कर रहे थे कि आई थिंक प्रीमियर लीग के कोई 5-6 प्लेयर्स अभी इसी हफ्ते कोरोना पॉजिटिव उनको अनफॉर्चुनेटली साला. So international scheduling, so yes, of course, that's on one hand, but also domestically they should have restructured the fixtures वगैरह. The 5-man substitutions जो हैं उसके बारे में बात we can talk about how everyone else is doing it, yes, but Premier League isn't doing it. So yes, small.
I disagree with the 5-man substitution. It just takes the fun out of the game.
यार मगर
Why though?
see, it's not about नहीं the wait a second. The 5-man substitution है, it's a very short term thing. सीन ये कि अगर आप इंटरनेशनल्स भी कर रहे हो, आपके पास चैंपियंस लीग भी है, आपके पास 1000 कॉम्पिटिशंस हैं, और आपके पास स्क्वाड भी है, you can't overuse your players. और ऊपर से अगर आपके एक प्लेयर को कोविड हो गया तो आपको उसके लिए भी अकाउंट करना पड़ता है. तो 5-man substitution in these circumstances makes sense to me.
It just makes sense. And by the way, on your point, Asad, it's been confirmed that the EFL championships and League Ones, they have confirmed that the 5-man rule The 5-man rule has been implemented, so it honestly just puts a bit more pressure on the Premier League now to follow up, because it's every top
हाँ,
5 league in the world that has it. Serie A, La Liga. So if Premier League is the only one, and again we have to
Champions League
focus more about how it affects the players. Even if we look at Chelsea have lost Ben Chilwell now to COVID. So I don't think any
नहीं
Chelsea
नहीं
fan really wants to see Marcos
Ben
Alonso at left
sorry
back. Even Ahmed Bhai, what?
wait, sorry, Ben Chilwell is not lost COVID. He had a back
Oh.
spasm. Havertz COVID.
Right. And even Ahmed Bhai, imagine if Marcus Rashford gets, he's such a pivotal player for United down the left hand side. Agar he gets COVID or an injury, who do you feel United have as a sufficient proper cover for Rashford on the left? What do you
More
think?
than
David
Rashford,
James.
I'm more worried about the left back position, to be honest. Shaw is out. Brandon Williams is too raw and too immature to keep that going for a long term. And Alex Telles, COVID के साथ I agree कि उसको अभी COVID से recover हुआ है, साथ ही उसको before he played for United उसको Brazil भेज दिए. He was still
Yeah.
testing positive. He still had the virus inside him. So
Yeah.
I still somehow don't agree with the 5 substitution rule, because the big clubs are going to take too much of an advantage of it. The Premier League की competitiveness है वो खत्म हो जानी है उससे.
मुझे नहीं लगता ये होगा.
Yeah, I understand where Ahmed is coming from. लेकिन point ये है कि you may have noticed also कि project restart के दौरान not every team were making 5 changes. वो 3-4 changes कर रहे थे. The point is and I'm not a sports scientist, so I don't know how this works, but from what I've understood is कि it's all about minutes. तो कभी-कभी होता है कि player को अगर 80 मिनट पर निकालना है तो 10 मिनट यहाँ बचा दो, 5 मिनट बचा दो. So it's not कि
That's what I've heard as well.
they don't make 5 changes वैसे पर से. Champions League के अंदर भी आपने देखा होगा Liverpool, Man City 4 changes, 3 changes कर रहे होते हैं, but it's just
3-4 max. Yeah.
3-4 होता है. It's just कि एक तो you have that cushion, and number 2 you know कि अच्छा अगर हम यहाँ 10 मिनट बचा सकते हैं एक प्लेयर को by substituting him a little early, maybe it will help 3 months down the line. Yes, obviously Ahmed is right कि it does,
especially with the Premier League we have to. Yeah.
But it's just like Asad pointed out, it's short term है and it's just for player welfare. तो ठीक है, इस साल शायद थोड़ा सा issue होएगा, competitiveness को भी शायद हो सके. अगर on the flip side right now बहुत competitive हो गई है, but it's pretty crappy football we're seeing because everyone is getting injured.
Absolutely. The Premier League doesn't, I've been really disappointed with the football we've seen this year, honestly. But one more thing, Ahmed, we have to take into, जो आपकी एक बात है ना, where you're saying कि smaller clubs, and I agree with it, smaller clubs will face a big disadvantage because clubs like Pep Guardiola, they bring players like Gundogan and Bernardo Silva off the bench. But एक चीज हमें notice for at least, especially because हम देखते हैं अगर La Liga को compare करते हैं या even Serie A को करते हैं, the quality of players in the Premier League are much bigger, ठीक है? But especially अगर हम देखें, for example, clubs like Aston Villa, Newcastle, they have such huge owners, they're spending £100 million every window. So it is not कि वो investment नहीं है, उन्होंने players खरीदे हैं, they have spent a big sum of money. That has to be. So I think the reason that they're saying now we face disadvantage is not because of they haven't, it's because they're worried of how well other clubs have bought. Even I think clubs like Leicester, for example, they don't spend big money at all, but they have, the way they mold talent, the way they bring players forward, like Yuri Tielemans, for example, for 8 million, maybe players like Harvey Barnes, who's a homegrown talent, so that has to be taken into consideration, I feel.
Wait, there was.
I agree. If the 5 substitution rule comes in, I won't be sad about it.
Yeah.
So, but I'm more of a traditionalist, so that's why where I'm coming from. Yeah, let's keep it at 3.
I totally agree. I believe
there
that.
There was recently a vote. Premier League के सारे clubs ने apparently vote किया है for the 5 substitution rule, and it was 15 clubs for and 5 against. तो अगर आप majority को देखें तो फिर like sense तो बनती है ना, हर कोई चाह तो रहा है.
True.
So,
True. I think the rule states it has to be all 20 for it to take effect.
Yeah, that is when it.
वो apparently like the rest of the 5, they're trying to convince them. तो देखते हैं क्या होता है.
Let's see. Chale, let's move on towards our next topic. How आज because we have been fortunate enough to have a Chelsea supporter as well as a Man United supporter. Ahmed, how do you think the season has gone so far, Man United? What do you think is up next, and what do you feel is needed at the club right now?
Yes, season for us honestly started 4 games in. With the fact that we were playing late into the summer, and वो आपकी टीम की regrouping और अभी आपके new players को मौका नहीं मिला fitness का. We didn't have Cavani due to the COVID restriction for quite some few games. So the potential is there. हमने PSG के against देखी potential है, RB Leipzig के against potential, we were seeing that. मगर on back coming home, there is something that the players, I don't know, is still on the, I'm on the fringe कि यार अच्छा है बुरा है season किस तरह जा रहा है. The thrashing from Tottenham hurt a lot.
Yeah,
Then,
I can.
but what hurt more was the performances against Chelsea and Arsenal.
Yeah.
क्योंकि Spurs वाली game was a freak game. आप उसके ऊपर season base नहीं कर सकते. We got a penalty in 34-36 seconds. Score किया, उन्होंने 2 back-to-back goal किए. Martial का red card हो गया. The other player, उसका नाम है भूल रहा हूँ, he should have gotten red card as well. Game different होती.
बिल्कुल.
And within the first 7 minutes, the game was over.
Yeah.
So it was a free game.
Yeah.
अगर हम सिटी की बैक we go few years back, सिटी वर्सेस सिटी 6-1 3-1 जा रहे थे, यूनाइटेड जस्ट वेंट ऑल आउट, पीछे आखिरी 3 मिनट में 3 गोल हो गए. So the scoreline didn't reflect what the game was.
अच्छा,
So
you just mentioned
against Chelsea we were too dry, and against Arsenal again we were too apprehensive.
Yeah.
यार अच्छा मौका मिल गया तो हो गया गोल, वरना let's just sit back and see what's happening.
अभी
So
आपने जिस
that
आपने अहमद अभी मेंशन किया, देखें you guys have brought in Edinson Cavani. One of the things that I read most on social media nowadays is how Manchester United's transfer policy, might be questionable because you guys get linked to players like Jadon Sancho. I mean, on the right side of the pitch, what do United have to offer that you don't go for a winger before getting the likes of Donny van de Beek and Edinson Cavani? So what do you feel about that? Do you guys feel that you got the players you needed in this window? Yeah, there needs to be improvements in that department as well.
Yeah, देखो, we need a lot more improvement. वो मसला वो है कि the past 6-7 years of how the transfer policies have been, other clubs are trying to milk United. और पहले कुछ साल देते रहे, डी मरिया के लिए 60 मिलियन पे किए, इधर उधर पैसे आप देते रहे हो. अब जो प्लेयर चाहिए भी है उसके लिए, ऑनेस्टली सांचो इज नॉट 120 मिलियन यूरो प्लेयर.
That's debatable.
Might be 80-90 मिलियन की रेंज, 80-90 मिलियन की रेंज. He's a very good player.
Yeah.
मगर he is not one of your top 5 players in the world. इसके लिए you push out that much money.
For sure.
तो United also has to be, अच्छा इसके लिए अभी हम पे करेंगे, हमने अगला प्लेयर भी लेना है. Where will the money come from for that?
नहीं, मगर अगर आप देखें कि like United just bought this kid from Atlanta for 30 million and he hasn't really played a first team match, तो वो भी जरा आप overspending कह सकते हो कि हुई है, because nobody knows.
Atlanta वाला तो I think he will join in January.
Balde, someone called Balde, I think, right?
Diallo नाम है.
He will join in January.
Yeah, Diallo.
The Diallo जो है, and he will join in January. And Pellistri again is someone for the future.
जी exactly. तो वो लोग तो मैं बस यूनाइटेड की जब बात आती है ना, तो मुझे बस समझ पर्सनली नहीं आई थी कि वैन डे बीक, मुझे बहुत अच्छा लगता है वैन डे बीक, आई थिंक इज अ वेरी गुड प्लेयर, मगर वो यूनाइटेड में मुझे नहीं पता क्या कर रहा है. लाइक ऑनेस्टली, लाइक
देखो, I will tell you very simply, Pogba is not going to stay beyond this season. आपने उसका फ्रेंच प्रेस में इंटरव्यू सुन लिए होंगे.
Yeah, that sounds probable.
Sorry sir, वो थोड़ा
देखो, अगर if we had tried to go and get someone like Van de Beek after Pogba had left, वो फिर then it was in hundreds of millions of pounds की गेम बात आ रही फिर.
That's actually quite interesting, हाँ. That kind of makes sense in that sense.
आपने उसको साथ अपने टीम में जेल करने का मौका भी दे दिया. You're giving basically 1 year long pre-season to him. Yeah, so just bond with the team, get some game time, get a few goals under your belt, and then once Pogba leaves, then just come in and take over in a smooth transition.
That actually sounds much better, yeah.
But do you think that Van de Beek is the sort of obviously Pogba की replacement तो नहीं है, मगर Van de Beek और Bruno Fernandes जो हैं, वो इकट्ठे ओली उनको एक टीम में like structure बना सकेगा? क्योंकि आपको एक बहुत अच्छा
DM Diamond, he can fit them both हैं. Diamond में हो जाएगा.
DM तो नहीं, डायमंड यार, डायमंड आप लाइक एक बहुत नीच सी फॉर्मेशन है, वो आप हमेशा नहीं खिला सकते.
हमेशा दोनों खिलाने की जरूरत भी नहीं है ना. देखो, we need squad depth. बात वही आती है कि you can't keep playing Fernandes all the time as well. उसको थोड़ी देर बाद ब्रेक देनी पड़नी है.
But like,
especially the way amount of time the kilometers he covers on the pitch, Fernandes is a very hard working player. So yeah.
But like
उसको कर
यूनाइटेड को वैसे एक डीएम की जरूरत नहीं है, बहुत अच्छे लाइक जरूरत हो एक डीएम की.
We need basically a DM. We need a center back. fullback that can play on either side, and right winger. These are the 4 positions we need in
I
the
think
next
right winger is the number 1 priority. ठीक है, Sancho अगर नहीं आया तो who starts on the right आजकल? Mata?
माटा को खिला रहे हैं बेचारे को, लाइक
नहीं बेचारा 32 साल का हो गया
यार, उसकी पोजीशन भी राइट पे
राइट साइड पे
खेला हुआ है वो, चेल्सी के लिए भी खेला हुआ है
आई एम नॉट
राइट
दैट वरीड इतना हाई है राइट साइड राइट विंगर की, आई एम नॉट दैट वरीड अबाउट इट.
But that's an
Okay, you
essential
have Greenwood
part of
there. आपके पास Greenwood, he can come in the next साल लग जाएगा, 2 साल और लग जाएंगे. Greenwood will take over that position.
यार Ahmad is right.
Daniel James भी उसमें potential है, so I'm not that worried.
He shouldn't be worried. Ahmad shouldn't be worried. जब तक ओले है तब तक मैन यूनाइटेड कुछ नहीं कर सकता, तो अभी वरी करने की जरूरत ही नहीं है. ठीक है, मे बी couple of years down the line जब स्क्वाड बिल्ड हो जाए सही तरह and you bring a decent manager who can actually do something with these players, because Ahmad ने पॉइंट किया कि मैन यूनाइटेड का जो up and down season गया है, the reason is कि they only know how to play one way, which is against big teams. आप काउंटर पर खेलो, you guys have good players. It's just that you guys don't have other ways of playing. There's just one way of actually playing good.
Actually, that's quite true. I've noticed that in games.
Let's get Asad involved a bit because I have to leave in 10 minutes. Let's get Asad involved, and I'm just going to throw something out there. Ole को आप बोलते रहते हो, Ole and Lampard are in the same boat. Both haven't won anything.
I never said they weren't.
True. ठीक है, both are former players. Lampard with the English बैकग्राउंड, उसको इंग्लिश नेशनैलिटी, उसको डिफरेंट ट्रीटमेंट मिल रहा है, ओले को डिफरेंट मिल रहा है. प्लस ओले के साथ मसला पता है क्या हुआ है एट यूनाइटेड? ओले केम इन एंड ही स्टार्टेड वेरी वेल. वो पीक थी ना, बहुत जल्दी आ गई फर्स्ट पीक. उसके बाद जब स्लम्प आए, देन पीपल आर लाइक अच्छा वो वी गिव हिम द जॉब टू क्विक. अब फिर वो आफ्टर फर्नांडिस केम इन वी वेंट बैक अप, वो फिर वापस आ रहा है. वो ये दिस विल कीप हैपनिंग टिल द टाइम ही हैज अ टीम दैट ही इज कंफर्टेबल विद. Thankfully उसके अंदर Mourinho वाले वो issues नहीं आएंगे, so he will keep on working. Mourinho started to give up after 2 seasons. वो at least नहीं आएगा उसका.
नहीं, मगर देखा आप, obviously Lampard ने भी कुछ भी नहीं किया हुआ, Oli ने भी कुछ भी नहीं किया हुआ, मगर Oli is like 10 years older and he has had 10 years of management experience before Lampard. He also had बहुत सारी ट्रांसफर विंडोज में उसने कुछ ना कुछ खरीदा हुआ है, तो उसके पास अपॉर्चुनिटी थी कि अपनी टीम को बेहतर कर ले. उसने बहुत पैसे, लाइक ऑब्वियसली ओली सारे डिसीजन नहीं ले रहा, मगर लाइक आप लैम्पार्ड और ओली को एक ही बोट में नहीं रख सकते आप, और अर्टेटा और लैम्पार्ड को कंपेयर कर सकते हो. यू कैन नॉट कंपेयर ओली टू दीस गाइस बिकॉज़ ही इज एन एक्सपीरियंस्ड मैनेजर. तो आप
अर्टेटा को भी आप नहीं लैम्पार्ड से कंपेयर कर सकते. ही वो हैड अ वेरी डिफरेंट मेंटर इन आपका जो है मैनेजमेंट
स्टार्टिंग पॉइंट.
I think what Asad is trying to say is कि in terms of timeline ना, Ole has had मतलब एक managerial background, because I think he managed the under 20.
वो कार्डिफ का मैनेजर था.
कार्डिफ के भी थे,
नॉर्वे में भी कोई
कार्डिफ का था,
मोल्ड का था नॉर्वे में, और अच्छा.
I think Ole और Lampard को हम इसका सेम बोट में डाल सकते हैं, saying कि because they both more or less spent time at the top level of football एक साथ शुरू किया, or more or less. In that sense, I think they're quite on a similar path. हम ये कह सकते हैं. I think क्योंकि managing United is not an easy job. Mourinho says his biggest achievement was, managing that Man United side, something coming second with that United. So it is not easy to manage such a huge club. It is an effort.
There are too many different aspects in it.
बिल्कुल.
मैं तो बल्कि हंस के अपने दोस्तों को, यूनाइटेड फैंस को कहता हूँ कि we play better when Alex Ferguson is not in the stadium. And I actually went through that quite a few games. I noticed कि यार हाँ अच्छा लॉकडाउन में बहुत अच्छा किया, फर्गसन नहीं आ रहा था. And finally the first game he came, I messaged a friend कि यार आज हारेंगे, and we lost.
Wow.
I'm not saying it's because of Ferguson, मगर it happens कि there are so many different pressure points and there's so many people pulling strings at United कि आपको समझ नहीं आती कि मैनेजर करना क्या चाह रहे हैं and what the actual end goal is.
Definitely.
So, we have to be, as a United fan, have to be very patient.
Yeah.
हाँ, मगर यार ये भी है ना कि अगर आप पेशेंट हुए तो पोचेटिनो कहीं और चला जाएगा, तो ये भी मसला है ना.
Pochettino is not the end of the world, यार. Honestly, not the end of the world.
Definitely, मगर बड़ा अच्छा मैनेजर तो है.
He's a great guy.
It's very hard. He hasn't achieved anything, ना. Again,
तो
all
यार
I
वो तो
आई थिंक उसके
hasn't won
बाल अच्छे हो
anything.
गए, लेकिन बाल अच्छे हैं पोचेटिनो, मुझे मुझे तो बालों के लिए वो चाहिए, मुझे उसके बाल फिट लगते हैं.
हाँ,
But Asad, so after the dissection of Manchester United, आप बताएं. I think Chelsea have been enjoying, a really smooth season so far, right? The players are now gelling in under Frank. ठीक है.
हाँ,
Tactically, even I'm not sure what's happening at the club, but we see performances from I think Timo Werner has been really, really impressive. Ben Chilwell has really just started off the mark, showing how smooth he can be. So what do you think?
हाँ.
What do you think about the season so far? What do you think is next? And what do you see? Where do you see improvements could be, needed at the club?
ठीक हो गया. अच्छा नहीं यार, मैं ये तो नहीं कहूँ कि स्मूथ सेलिंग रही है, बिकॉज काफी शुरू में तो हर कोई बस यही कह रहा था कि लाइक सारे ये प्लेयर्स अपेरेंटली सभी फ्लॉप हो गए. तो लाइक क्या कहते
अच्छा.
हैं, जब वेस्ट ब्रॉम का ड्रॉ हुआ था और ये सारा सीन हुआ था, वो लाइक काफी बैड सीन था. ऊपर से लिवरपूल से भी हार गए थे ऑब्वियसली, वो तो लाइक तब कोई हमारे प्लेयर्स थे भी नहीं हमारे पास. मगर मेरा सबसे बड़ा लाइक मानना ये था कि व्हेन एवर चेल्सी वुड गेट अ गुड गोलकीपर, you would see a dramatic improvement, like because if you have a very shit goalkeeper, आपकी डिफेंस में कोई कॉन्फिडेंस नहीं होती, आपकी मिडफील्ड में कोई कॉन्फिडेंस नहीं होती, आपकी सारी टीम ही बस एकदम से फारिग हो जाती है. अगर आपने कंपैरिजन करना है, आप लिवरपूल को मिनीले और लिवरपूल को एलिसन के साथ कंपेयर करो तो जमीन आसमान का फर्क है.
Big
ऑब्वियसली मैं ये नहीं
difference.
कह रहा कि मेंडी कोई एलिसन लेवल का कीपर है, मगर बस एक अच्छा कीपर है. लाइक एक अच्छा
I think
कीपर
he's
है.
done quite well so
He
far.
has done quite
Really.
well, मगर I'm not
Yeah.
going to make big claims like that. But like जैसे ही मेंडी
नजर ना
आया,
लग
ऊपर से
जाए.
थियागो सिल्वा का एक्सपीरियंस भी पीछे जरा हेल्प कर रहा है. शॉर्ट टर्म के लिए बड़ी अच्छी साइनिंग है. आई थिंक चेल्सी विद this defense and this keeper can do well, like better than last season. और लैम्पार्ड का जो सिस्टम, जो हर कोई कह रहा होता है कि apparently उसका सिस्टम है ही नहीं, उस बंदे का एक सिस्टम है जो कि 4-3-3 है, with one DM and two offensive midfielders that he wants to play. That's
Yes.
his long-term game. ठीक है.
I've noticed
So
this.
you
Yeah.
can only do. He couldn't do that last season because he didn't have the fullbacks or the keeper or the centre backs, because सारा कुछ flop हो जाता था. Alonso मतलब कि left back नहीं है. Aspilicueta like उसकी he's at the twilight of his career. तो अब आपके पास Aspilicueta भी है, रीस जेम्स भी है, बेन चिलवेल भी है, और एक जरा ज्यादा बैलेंस सा सिस्टम है. कांटे डीएम खेल रहे, जॉर्जिनियो नहीं है कहीं पे भी, और हैवर्ट्स और माउंट या फिर कोवाचिच जो भी है, वो they're like the box to box guys, so it makes much more sense to me. So I think overall Chelsea might have a pretty decent season compared to last season because they just seem more balanced, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Shahjahan, what do you think? Chelsea के जो big money signings हुई हैं, players like Kai, who's such a 60 million pounds spent on a 21-year-old German. What do you think? What do you think about मतलब क्या expectations होंगी you feel Frank Lampard के साथ इस साल from Roman Abramovich, of course?
We spoke about this I think a couple of podcasts पहले जब शुरू हो रहा था कि चेल्सी का सबसे बड़ा चैलेंज क्या होएगा, which was कि now that he has this new transfer kitty and he's gone out and bought so many players while he already had a lot of younger players. Tammy था, Mount जो for some reason सबका favorite player है इंग्लैंड के अंदर, गैरेथ साउथगेट का भी है और लैम्पार्ड का भी हर मैच खेलता है. But
It's the
other than
English
that,
contact.
ये चैलेंज था कि how will he be able to fit all of these players in a system and B also make sure कि इनका motivation level वगैरह कैसा रहेगा, because आप टैमी को देख लो कि शुरू के matches में, if I'm not mistaken, Asad, he barely played. I think first half of the current season, 3-4 matches में तो खेला ही नहीं था at all. I think Havertz जब interestingly when Havertz got injured या corona जब उसको हो गया था, the team, I'm not blaming Havertz obviously because some players need a lot more time to adjust in a different country, in a different league. And I know उसने कोई I think Carabao Cup या शायद Champions League में एक match था where Havertz was played great. But other than that, Premier League में I haven't really seen Havertz being at his usual best, probably because अभी तक समझ नहीं आया उसको false nine खिलाना है, उसको AMC खिलाना है, उसको winger खिलाना है, क्या किस को खिलाना है. But once Havertz was out of the picture.
Sorry, मुझे पता, I get what you're getting at, मगर like मैं disagree करता हूँ because Havertz सिर्फ पिछला वाला मैच नहीं खेला था, उससे पहले वो सारे चेल्सी की स्ट्रीक थी, उसमें सारे मैचेस Havertz खेला है और काफी अच्छा खेला है. बस सीन ये है कि like if you watch the matches he's playing quite well because he's quite hard working, काफी industrious performances कर रहा है, मगर क्योंकि उसको आप नंबर 10 पे नहीं खिला रहे, आप उसको राइट सेंटर में खिला रहे, तो जरा ना like assist before assist type चीजें कर रहे हैं ना वो. तो
For
वो
me
और
as well,
Mount
वैसे
doing
for me as well, वैसे I honestly I agree with Asad in terms of how good Havertz looks on the on the ball, but I think that this comes down to how Lampard manages his players, right? Who do you think is more important in what position? For example, I'll give you a sample. He's been playing Timo Werner on the left, ठीक है? Werner does have experience on the flanks as well, but is such a matlab, how we say clinical forward. I mean, Werner can finish the ball when matlab,
yeah,
like, as good as anyone in the world right now.
of
ठीक है?
course.
Is he supposed to be playing on the left? Same goes for Kai. Maybe I've seen Kai play on the right flank as well, covering for Reece James when Reece goes forward. Is that how you want to use Kai? Again, these are all early moments in the season, but we
Yeah.
need to just maybe at least talk about
अच्छा
that Lampard is
हाँ
from what I feel not certain of how he wants to set up the team so far.
अच्छा sorry, on the Werner point, last season he had like 36 37 goals, बड़ा अच्छा season किया.
Absolutely.
That was when he was playing with Poulsen.
Yeah.
Exactly Tammy Abraham type. मुझे नहीं पता शायद बेहतर हो now, I don't care.
Yeah,
मगर वही profile of player है, ठीक है.
true.
So like he was in the middle, Werner was cutting in from the left, right पे उनका जो Sabitzer type boy है वो था. ये सारे like लोग मतलब कि ना वो Werner का सीन है कि he plays quite well with the target man right next to
Support
him. He also
striker,
plays well in the
yeah.
middle.
Support striker type.
मगर
Yeah.
अभी he's been a player that is right now ready to start. ठीक है, you have Pulisic who's injured. That is why Werner is being played on the left at the moment. Havertz शुरू में he was being played at the right because Lampard का idea ये है कि अगर left footed बंदा right side पे हो तो वो cut in करके cross कर सकता है, तो आगे आके Chilwell और Werner जो है they'll get on the end of the balls. तो Ziyech अब जब आगे है तो आपको टीम की एक्चुअली शेप नजर आ रही है कि
Balance
For
better
sure.
है.
Yeah, I agree.
हाँ, तो राइट पे आपका Ziyech के बीच में कोई भी, लेफ्ट पे कोई भी जो भी अवेलेबल है, बेसिकली ये आइडिया है.
Yeah.
Ziyech is actually the most important player we have.
But again, I think Ziyech has been really, really impressive so far. Again, even at वो Ajax, जो उसका time, he put up really good numbers. Sometimes I notice that he just disappears in games, which is fine because he's a very, how we say, from what I've seen, a very जिस तरह हम कह सकते हैं Ozil-esque, maybe even Thiago type. The way he puts up these numbers now because of how smart he's on the ball. He might not be the most मतलब जिसे कहते हैं effort centric player, but he has the ability to really be a game changer for Chelsea.
Adil, he does help out quite a lot in the press. Like Ozil press नहीं करता. Like Ziyech proper press करता है. मतलब कि Ziyech को Ajax से हमने लिया है ना. तो जिस तरीके से Ajax ने press को सिखाते हैं उस तरीके से वो press करता है. Like वो effort डालता है. I get what you're saying. Like he does disappear sometimes in games, but he's just that sort of player. Like he will have one moment in the game, and that will win you the match. तो उस तरह का सीन है उसका.
Absolutely, he can be. I think he can be a very pivotal. जिस तरह होते हैं ना, stuck at 1-1, 81st minute. Ziyech, just makes that pass that gets Werner in.
That piece is बहुत fit. That piece is
who? Yeah,
Set
absolutely.
pieces,
Great left foot. Yeah. Khair,
and another surprising thing, sorry to add, is Thiago Silva ki, because and शुरू में expose हुआ था matches में, and when he was signed, I was like, ठीक है, it's a decent signing, but यार ये Premier League में expose होएगा, taste के साथ expose होएगा, हाँ. But I think Lampard has utilized him pretty अच्छा decent तरीके से, games भी उसको जो दे रहा है वो smart तरीके से दे रहा है, and एक वो obviously एक आप level तो Thiago Silva का था अपने peak पर, तो वो एक confidence और exude करता है, जो like you said, Mendy, if you have Mendy at the back, plus you have someone with that kind of experience, जो David Luiz के पास नहीं था. I mean, experience लेकिन confidence वो नहीं.
David Luiz is like different level का boy.
David Luiz. I think Thiago Silva has proved me wrong by all definitions of the term. I expected him to really, really struggle. Initially, Pelly game, maybe the guy looks so comfortable on the ball. He moves it forward. He leads from the back. I've been really, really, and at 36, he looks fit. And yeah, I think that's a great buy for Chelsea. I think one of the best signings this year. We can talk about the Werners and the Havertz, but I think Thiago Silva is right up there as very smart signing.
On a free, and he took a pay cut. So it's pretty big.
I think that's pretty good business.
Chelsea
pretty good business.
Something definitely it should be Mendy 1 and Thiago 2 right now.
Yeah. I think लिवरपूल को भी देखना चाहिए था जरा थियागो सिल्वा यार, honestly speaking. जो हमारे साथ चल रहा है
यार लॉवरेन ही बेचना चाहिए था
यार,
लॉवरेन क्यों
वापस
बेचा लॉवरेन वापस बनाओ यार
Zenit
नहीं
में
लॉवरेन
free
वैसे नहीं लॉवरेन को बेचना चाहिए था बिकॉज़ दैट गाय लाइक वो आपको क्या उसका फायदा कैसे हो रहा है आपको
वैसे
लॉवरेन कोई फायदा
looking back जितना गुस्सा हमने उस पे निकाला है ना
यार वो अच्छा नहीं है प्लेयर वो बंदा एक अच्छा प्लेयर नहीं है वो बुरा प्लेयर है
सही है but that's I guess
यार
हाँ but
यार
let's see
वो आपने उसकी कभी बातें नहीं सुनी He's the
यार
best
मैंने उसकी
defender,
बातें सुनी हुई हैं
Champions League
उसकी
winner,
बातें बहुत
ठीक है,
बेहतर
World Cup finalist.
ट्विटर पे
हाँ
his
उसने कहा था कि
personality
मैं
is
रामोस से बेहतर हूँ लाइक उसने कहा था
insane. That is all for today's episode of Over the Line. I would like to thank Mohammed Asad for coming on our show. We would
जी
love to have you again someday. Really good
Definitely.
analysis on so many different topics. Take care. Really had a good time with you. We would also like to thank Ahmed and Shah Jahan, some of our more of our regular members on the show. Take care. It's always a pleasure. I got to host for the first time. Take care. Not, I didn't have to talk about Liverpool's injury problems, so that's a relief. Till then, thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe on the channel. Please share it with your friends. We love all the support that you're offering the channel, and we'll see you soon. Thank you. Allah Hafiz.
Bye bye.
Yes.
Well, this place is witnessed some unbelievable